Hey everybody, I am back with this, fourth inductee going into the 2021 Hall of Fame. And that would be the great Khali. Both as Dep Sain Ran, I hope I said his name right. This is a very questionable, so I don't know too much about the great Khali. All Pro Wrestling 2000 to 2001 under the ring name Giant Sang. He first became a professional wrestler for All Pro Wrestling APW in the United States, making his first appearance in October of 2000 when teaming up with Tony Jones against the West Side Players. World Championship Wrestling 2001. When Rand came to San Francisco, he signed a contract with World Championship Wrestling WCW and spent 8 months there until WCW was bought by the rival promotion, the World Wrestling Federation. So unfortunately, that was a kind of waste. I don't think he even made a television appearance in WCW. And then New Japan Pro Wrestling 2001 to 2002 as Giant Sang. He received an offer from New Japan Pro Wrestling NJPW by Team 2000 leader Manchino Chero, along with another big man, Giant Silva of the Odyssey. You remember the big Giant Silva? They were the tallest tag team in professional wrestling history at an average of 7 foot 2.5 inches and a combined weight of 805 pounds between the two. That's almost 1,000 pounds weight. I'm just pretty much reading this off Wikipedia, you guys. I might be saying, well, you're doing your... I ain't doing my research because I don't know too much of Great Khali. I never did any background of it or nothing. Teaming up for the first time at the Tokyo Dome in October when he was as Club 7 by Chido defeated Hijo Tadazashi and Kenzo Suzuki. Okay, I remember Kenzo Suzuki. So he had a couple of, about a year. And then Vicious Promotion starting in 2002. He also wrestled in the Mexican promotion CMLL and the Japanese promotion, also Japanese Pro Wrestling AJPW until 2006 when he signed with the WWE. Then he went to Deep South Wrestling in 2006. On January 2nd of 2006, Rand became the first indie professional wrestler to be signed a contract by World Wrestling Entertainment. He was assisted to the Development Federation Deep South Wrestling, where he wrestled under his real name. Undefeated streak of 2006 to 2007 with Daivari as his manager. The unnamed debuted on WWE television as the finale of this April 7th episode of SmackDown, attacking The Undertaker. And that is where we saw the great Khali. They had a feud, and this defeated during his match with Mark Henry. This caused a no contest ruling. The following week on SmackDown, he was introduced as the great Khali, and Daivari explained that he finally had a client who will destroy The Undertaker after Muhammad Hassan and Mark Henry has previously failed. Khali made his in-ring debut on April 21st episode of SmackDown, defeating Funaki. On 12th of May episode of SmackDown, Khali was John Bradshaw Layfield's hand-picked opponent against World Heavyweight Champion Rey Mysterio. Khali had his height advantage of 21 inches and a weight advantage of 250 pounds and defeated Mysterio in a squash match. And then at Judgment Day, in his match against The Undertaker at Judgment Day, Khali defeated The Undertaker with a kick to the head. As he received some legal help from Daivari, Khali continued on a rampage for several weeks, winning handicap matches, beating wrestlers up in a display of power, and marking The Undertaker's signature pin and pose. Khali then challenged The Undertaker for the first ever Punjabi prison match at the Great American Bash. However, Khali was not medically cleared to compete in the match and was instead replaced by Big Show, who had never been in a Punjabi prison. I believe after the medical cleared, Khali was challenged by The Undertaker at Last Man Standing match at SummerSlam. The match was moved to the SmackDown just prior to SummerSlam and was won by The Undertaker, giving Khali his first loss in WWE. The Great Khali and Davalia was moved to ECW brand officially when they made their ECW debut on ECW Sci-Fi. The World Heavyweight Champion, I think he was in 07 or 08, and then 2008 to 2011, that's when he became a Punjabi playboy, and that's when, honestly, no one really cared. I honestly didn't. And then he had obviously feuds with other superstars between 2012 and 2014, and that was it. As far as titles go, he was a Central Wrestling Entertainment CWE Heavyweight Champion twice. Tenzo Hall 6-Man Tournament 2002 with Majabi and Giant Silver. World Heavyweight Champion once. 7-Man Royal Rumble. And now he's inducted into the 2021 Hall of Fame. As much as, he had success in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and that's great, but even we had Tanju Funami inducted in the Hall of Fame. We had Justin Thunder Liger, who was also inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. But he made an appearance in the WWE and WCW. But the Great Khali, in my opinion, I would have actually put Giant Gonzalez before the Great Khali. He also made an appearance in The Longest Yard. That was pretty funny. That was a pretty funny movie. Check it out. But, congrats though anyways to the Great Khali. But my honest opinion, I would have actually had Giant Gonzalez going into the WWE Hall of Fame. Because he's the one that had that feud with The Undertaker back in '93. He had that match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 9. So, as much as Great Khali probably had success in, all Japan, pretty much all Japan Pro Wrestling, and then WWE, but then in my opinion, when he became the Punjabi playboy, between 2008 to 2011, that's honestly no one really cared. And honestly, I really didn't care. But that's just my opinion. But anyway, I will let it go here. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. And stay tuned for, I think, the 5th inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. Showtime. Stay tuned.